Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Tata Steel 2022 round 5. This is Sagar Shah welcoming you to a day of power packed action. Why is today so special for all of us? Well, today is the game between Anish Giri and Vidit Gujrathi that we are going to witness. So, fasten your seat belts. The main reason why this is very exciting as well is because Anish is just on 1.5 points out of 4. He has lost a game to Magnus and then 3 draws, so he is definitely behind what he would have loved to be on as a score. And Vidit is the sole leader of the tournament, so it sets up a perfect encounter for both players to fight. And also, Anish said that he would love to fight after the rest day, and which is the reason why this is such an exciting game. I myself am a little bit unwell today. After the Grandmaster chess with Naroditsky, I went off to sleep because I was not able to stay awake. But the match is so mouth watering that even if your eyes are watering, you cannot miss it. So, guys, let's get it started. This is Anish playing with the white pieces against Vidit, and here we go. E4, E5. Vidit is like, I'll play solid. Anish goes E4. He could have also opened with 1 D4. Anish is well known to play both the systems. Knight F3, and he goes Knight F6. Oh my god, it's a Petrov. That's how Anish would say that I would have commentated, and maybe when he saw Vidit playing Knight F6, he would have said to himself, "Oh my god, it's a Petrov." So this is exactly what happened. Anish took on e5. Now the Petrov is such a solid opening. Do you all remember who was playing it recently with the black pieces? Who was the player who was playing Petrov recently? Yes, I understand that if I'm not fine, I should not stream. So I'll take a call. If I'm not feeling so well, I'll cut it off. But it's most likely that I'm going to enjoy myself. So yes, exactly. Roshana, Jayaruban, it was Nepo. Also Caruana, Kushagra, you are right. But it was Nepo who played it a lot at the World Championship match against Magnus with good results, good positions. D6 was played, kicking the knight out. By the way, for all the new players here, why is knight takes e4 a blunder? This was one of the first opening traps that I learned in chess, and maybe you should also know this very well. Why is this move supposed to be a mistake? Can you tell me? It's a very well known trap. I can't picture AG and VD sitting seriously for a few hours. That's true. That's true. They are such good friends, but I think when it comes to professional chess, they can switch modes very quickly. Like I remember I was at World Rapid and Blitz, and we were going for dinners and enjoying with each other's company. And after the event, Anish would come and say, "What material did you get? Viral content did you click today?" But during the event, when they would pass through us and we were setting up cameras and all, we were mostly, in our work, they were in their work. So when it comes to chess, they forget everything and they are just completely focused on their task. By the way, let's see what. Absolutely right. Queen e2 is the move that I was looking for. Abhimanyu Singla, Roshan Jayaruban, Rakesh Kumar, No Name, Jibitesh, Swastik, Aryan Dhanda, Shubham Jagtap, Kushagra Chawla, and Aryan Talikoti. Well done, guys. Queen e2 is the move that is just finishing off the game. Okay, you can't say unfortunately, like modern theory says that it's not completely lost, and there's one move to save black, but it's not moving the knight away or playing d5, because d5 is met with d3. Knight anyway has to move, and then I go knight c6 check, and you lose the queen here. But the move that is played, and by the way, I should also have the live board, I understand, so I'll try to put it up. But meanwhile, can you tell me what is the move here that helps black to at least keep the game going, from the perspective of not losing the game? It's a bad position, we're not arguing that, but it keeps the game going. There you have it, the live board, so that all those who are following this, and we will quickly reach there in next 5 to 10 minutes, but I think it will help to yeah, I've kept the green screen because I don't want to overheat my computer, so please, I maybe have to do some servicing related stuff. Okay, so the move that you all have recommended is Queen E7. Absolutely right. Well done. No Name, Aki's Channel, Joy Bhojani, Kushagra Chawla, Charlie Patel, Tarun, Ekam Diol, Siddharth Bhatt, Vishal Kumar, and Amit Roy. So the move here, which is very, which keeps black in the game, is Queen E7. And then when you take here, you go D6 and then you recover the piece. Yeah, you can play D4 and white will be a pawn up, but it's okay. It's a playable position for black and maybe you can keep fighting. But anyway, D6 was played. Anish went back. Knight took on E4. D4 was played, which is again the most normal move, claiming space in the center. D5, and now Bishop D3 was played here. Bishop D6. So if you see, Petrov is kind of symmetrical, but on the other hand, black has an extra move almost. I mean, he's played his knight to E4, but white keeps his play around this knight. The knight is shaky in a way. So can you figure out a move to kind of move the knight, not keep it stable? You want to attack it. So how do you proceed? Could you tell me what is the way in which you want to proceed in this position as white, so as to, kind of जड़ों से knight को हिलाना है? Like you need to move it from its roots. Robert George says, get a gaming PC, Sagar bhai, worthy investment for you. Yeah, I think so. Maybe that's the next step. I think I was hoping for the COVID, like, it'll go away and then I need a good laptop, but maybe it is time to get into a gaming PC. So yes, you guys are partly right that Rook E1 here is one of the main moves. Actually, if I see the mega database here, then you will let me just see what you have suggested. Rook E1, yes, that is one of the main moves here. But the move that was played here is C4, correct, and that was the move. And if I go to my Chessbase 16 mega database board, you will see that C4 has been played in 6,630 games, while Rook E1 in just 855. So he went C4, and now you need to solidify that point. So Vidit went C6. This is also played in 6,200 games. Now Rook E1, now you are threatening to take here, here, and here, winning a pawn. So he went Bishop F5. And now came the move Queen to B3. So this game you all would remember. Actually, there are 3 games right at the top of the live database. If you see, Carlsen Nepomniachtchi was played. This was the game number 4, and where the most amazing thing about this game was that Nepo had prepared it right until the very end. And so that was Queen B3, and Knight A6 is one move here, but Nepo had played Queen D7. And here also Aronian and Arjun had played 2 games, and knight c3 had been played in Carlsen Nepo. Carlsen Nepo में knight c3 खेला गया था, and after take, queen takes, b takes c3 was played, and we had a very interesting game where b6 was played. And if I'll just try to test you guys here. b6, cd, correct, queen b5, I remember the move, queen d7, a4, takes, a5. And do you remember the move that Magnus Carlsen played here? The one who will get this answer, I think, is one of, like, is a real chess buff. You know, he remembers stuff from the World Championship, and he's like, oh, yes, I recollect. So can... Yes, Subrata Roy is right. Who else? Ramu Srikonduju. Aki's channel, very good. Kalpa Kanungo, well done. All of these people are right. The move here is knight h4 that was played in the game, not taking here, and this is how it continued. But in our game, he didn't go knight c3, Anish rather went for the move c5, which is the second main move. Only 7 games have been played here. Aronian versus Arjun Erigaisi is one of the main games. First playoff game at Tata Steel Kolkata. So c5, now Vidit has to do something about his bishop. So he went bishop c7. And now an important question to all of you is that what happens if I snatch the pawn on b7? If I snatch that pawn on b7, what is happening in the position? Let me see how many. I want at least 200 people to answer this. Why is that a bad move? Yes, absolutely amazing. Let's see. Only notation mistake, those who are saying bishop h7, but I get your feelings. You want to take on h2. And Lavitra, Nishchal, Om Prajapati, Rita Brita Varman, Kushagra Chawla, Ujwal Karnani, Roshana Jayaruban, Ankit Swastik Sahu, and Shreyas Srivastav. Fantastic job. The move is bishop takes h2, and you win the queen here. Correct? Well done. Okay, so in the game, Anish definitely didn't do that. He played the move knight to c3. Now Vidit here thought for a bit. Okay, he said to himself that यहाँ पे tactic का possibility है. There is a possibility of a tactic here. He took on c3. So he cannot take, maybe he can. If he takes on c3, then maybe queen c3 is possible, and the game goes on. Because if you play bishop f5, queen f5, and then queen takes b7, then once again I have the move queen d7, threatening bishop h2, trying to win the queen, and you take queen a8, and I come back. And now what has happened is that this queen is kind of trapped here, and I am threatening knight a6 next move. So let's say a move like g3 to prevent bishop takes h2 check could be met with, what do you think should black play here? Just very quickly, let's see. Amog Huddar says yes, bishop c5, dc5, knight c5 क्यों नहीं कर सकते? Amor, maybe in between move is bishop e4 there. That's what. Yeah, but anyway, let's see. Knight a6 is not right, guys. Knight a6, queen a7 will come. So the right move here, and let me see who's able to see it. Very few, very few. That's the thing. Yeah, it's not easy. Yes, SPT. You are right. SPT is the correct. And Prabhu Saxena. Well done. Well done. The move here is knight a6 खेला तो queen a7 and also queen b7 and white wins. But the move here is first bishop takes g3. And the point is, if you take hg3, then I will play now knight a6, and you see the queen is trapped on a8. So this is the key point here, and that's the reason why this variation does not work. I had one question in the chat which was like, why not take on c5 here, which is very interesting, because after take you want to take back. But the only issue here is that he will take bishop f5. And when you play knight takes b3, I will take bishop d7. And when he plays knight takes a1, I will come back bishop f5. And if you see the ensuing position, what has happened is that this knight cannot come out. And I have already two pieces for a rook. And I will get the knight as well when I will be literally a piece up, you know. So that's the reason why this does not work. So coming back, bishop c7 was played, knight c3, rook e8. Vidit tried to support this on e8, and this is already a new position. I think the first new move as per our chess base and mega database here is rook e8 by Anish. Knight c3 by Anish. This is the new move and never seen before in the game. It's the 12th move. The novelty came on the 12th move. And at that point, Anish had 1 hour 44 minutes. Vidit had 1 hour 24 minutes. And after rook e8, Anish had a little think. He thought for 7 minutes and he played bishop e3. Vidit developed his knight on a6. He's kind of okay that if Anish takes on a6, he's ready to take back. ठीक है, pawn structure खराब हुआ तो कौन सी बड़ी बात है. That's okay. So now knight went back to e2. And things are getting interesting here, because in some ways there are some ideas now that Anish is coming up with. He doesn't want to get into some problems with knight c5, although it doesn't work just as yet. But he goes knight e2. He's defending his bishop on d3. Vidit now went f6. Now this is a very, very committal move, f6, because on one hand he's taking control of the e5 square, but whenever you move a pawn, you do create weaknesses in the position. So he played f6. Also, I must mention that here bishop g4 would have been a much better move than f6, but okay, f6. He went a3. Anish is like, you know, I'm throwing the ball in Vidit's court here, because Vidit, what will you do now? I'm just making some calm moves. My idea is to drop the queen back to c2, and I don't want you to come to b4 and fork my two pieces. So I've just made a calm move. And Vidit was like, अब तो problem हो रहा है भाई, because let's say I play my rook a d8 just as a normal move. He might go queen c2, okay? And suppose I drop my bishop back just to keep it safe. He goes knight h4, or even he goes b4, and suddenly I'm not able to breathe. मतलब पूरा space लेके बैठेला है, like he's taken all my subscribers. And that kind of a feeling. And so Vidit was like, I need space and I need to do something here. And he came up with a very, very dangerous move here, guys. Can you guess it? What Vidit played? Of course, if you see on the live board, you might get the idea, but still, what the move he played was really very, very dangerous. Yeah, I mean, it's quite not like Vidit. And I do get a feeling that when Vidit and Anish play each other, I guess Vidit feels a little bit obliged to play it a little differently, because Anish knows him so well. I think something happens, and here Vidit played it a little bit uncharacteristically, as you say in the chat. Absolutely, g5 move was played by Vidit, and I'm actually very it's a very interesting move because Vidit is like, ठीक है, on the queen side you can take as much space as you want. Queen c2, as we discussed. Vidit, Anish wants to go b4, and now Vidit goes h5. Bhai Sahab, what is just happening here? He has played his pawn to h5, and the game is heating up like anything. And Vidit is telling Anish, play whatever you want. I am going for a kingside attack. I'm going for a heavy kingside attack. So here is a question to all of you. What would you play with white? And the position is strategically very complicated, because if you see, only one pair of pawns have been exchanged. And also time wise, Vidit has kind of caught up with Anish. He has 36 minutes, Anish has 37. Anish is still thinking for his move. Let me see what are the moves here. I don't see the need to flip the board, guys. I'm going to keep it like this, as it is. We just see it. Both of them are good friends. And also, yeah, let's just look at it from white's perspective, and black, all those who want to see it from black's perspective, and just, I mean, see it this way. And if you see chat chess moves a lot. Oh, that was last move as well there. So sorry, g5 is what many of you suggested, but h4 is what many of you want to play. And I think that's a very interesting move यहाँ पे. मतलब देखो, अगर yeah, guys, sorry, I'm back. Was just a small glitch there, but everything is back here. Sorry about that. So here, what we were thinking of was that he might go for the move h4. And why is this move good? Is because if you go g4, then I can play my knight to d2. And somehow now, the center mein, you are getting this f4 square for your piece, which is a very massive thing in the position, because f4 is a big weakness, right? And I think Vidit can't do much, because h4 is a classy move. Yeah, I think Anish should have gone for this h4 idea, provoking g4, and then sort of grasping the f4 square. But Anish Giri played, after a deep thought, like 6 minutes, he played rook a d1. And now my question is, what is on Vidit's mind? Because there are a couple of ideas in this position. What, see, if he's given unlimited amount of time, what would Vidit want to do? He would want to play h4. Okay? Let's say he goes b4. I'm just making random move. Now queen h7. And this position suddenly becomes, and you will see the value of h5, h4. He has been able to bring his queen here, put pressure down this diagonal, and also defend his h4 pawn. So if now you were to play a move like h3, then already I could think about rook e7, bring the other rook to e8, then knight b8 to d7, and also in the backup I have the move g4 in hand. So so here actually h5, and now rook a d1. Vidit would be thinking between queen h7, h4, rook a d8, another possibility here, But all in all, it seems like his attacking chances are not like super bright because white has control in the center. So let's say you want to play h4. How should Anish react to this? That is a question. Guys, any suggestion here? After h4, what is the move that you think should be played? How about knight h4 after h4? That's what you want to say, yeah, Sabarna? Yes, Ansh Chess and Gaming, very good. Here, the main point is that white will have to, at some point, like Anish will have to be like this, that Vidit has taken liberties to do something like g5, h5, h4, and he is being unapologetic about it because he has a firm center. And if he doesn't do anything about it, then Vidit will be all over him in some moves. So he has to find a very solid move here. And I like what you guys are suggesting. Yes, knight h4. Brilliant, guys. You guys are tremendous. Mudit, Ansh, Maverick, Real Death, Anant, Chirag, Nilesh, Himansh, Veer Singh, and Creator. Brilliant job. The point is that I can now take on h4, and you might say, what is happening after gh4? But what's the move here, guys? White to play. Kya ho raha hai? Kya ho raha hai? Kya ho raha hai? What is happening here as white? White to play. Yes. Ankit, Kritik Gujran, Savita Chess, Subhash Arvind, Aiden, Akshat Garg, Shri John, Aditya Tiwari, Sabarna Mukherjee. Very good, guys. Brilliant. The move here is f3. And f3 ke baad the knight cannot move away because of bishop takes f5. You lose a piece. And this is the way in which Anish can punish with it. Anish can punish. That is, maybe if Anish wins today, then that can be my title. Anish punishes. Okay, but knight h4 is a move. So I'm sure Vidit is looking at this and he's like, I don't like it so much. You know, even though this could be the best move, humanly it feels not right, because let's say even after take, and f3, let's say suppose I go queen h7 because I'm not going to move, and now you take, I take with the pawn, you give a check, and already white is totally better here. And next move I can even go rook f1, there is d5 in the air, b4 coming. I mean, it's just game over. So that's not going to happen. Oh, by the way, did he play h4? Oh, he's played h4. Oh my god. Oh my god, guys, knight h4 may be incoming. You know what I was expecting with it to do? I was expecting him to play queen h7 here. But I don't know. Maybe he didn't like it so much. Maybe he thought that knight g5 still can come. And anyway, there is f3 here as well. Quite possible he thought that way. So he decides to play h4. Wow. Wow. This is getting intense. And also, guys, one more tactical opportunity is knight takes g5, fg5, f3. And the difference between both these variations is very interesting, because here this is also kind of loose. Yeah, so एक variation देखते हैं, knight d6. Now I'm defending my bishop, so if you take here, I'll take with the knight. So you have to take here. Once you take here, I take on e3. Looks completely wrong, but after bishop f5, I now take queen d6, and I'm threatening a mate here. Wow. That looks exciting, and that looks good for black completely. So then my question is, if we go back, why can't this happen to knight h4? So let's say I take on h4, gh4, f3, and now why can't this work? What is the difference between these two lines, the previous one and this one? I like this question a lot, so what I do is sometimes I shift between variations. So cd6, rook e3, now I'm threatening to take this, so you take on f5, I take on d6. So the only difference is that instead of taking on g5, you have taken on h4 here. And can you figure out what is the big difference here? Guys, chess is just unbelievably beautiful. मतलब सवाल ही नहीं उठता यार, क्या ब्यूटीफुल मूव है यहाँ पर. देखते हैं किसी को मिलता है क्या. Let's see if anyone can find this. This move is just crazy. Crazy move here. It shows the beauty of chess. Why taking on g5 and h4 में क्या फर्क है? No h4, so g3. No h4 pawn, so g3 possible. No. There is h4 पे pawn है ना मयूर. The pawn is there here. If you look here, he still can't do g3. The difference is only that f6 pawn is on g5. That is the only difference. No, f4, yeah, you guys are kind of right that because the pawn was on g5, f4 now is possible, but it is much deeper than this. Let me see if anyone was able to spot it. There's only 1 or 2 people who have found it. Aditya, Dhotrikal, Jeel, Patel and Crackers. But I think, guys, be fair, yeah, when you're making a move, be fair. The move here is bishop c8. What a move. And I'm threatening to take here. And you will be asking to yourself, but what about queen h2? I don't care, king f2 is there. King f2, my king comes up. And now I'm threatening your rook. So let's say you decide not to take here and you take here. Then I go check with the queen. Now imagine if the pawn was on g5, the queen would have captured the queen. That is the small difference. अब कहाँ से सोचेंगे गेम में ये सब? How would you think of all these possibilities after king f8, queen h6 check, LPDO? There's a check here and it's gone. Queen takes e3, and even if you take this pawn, I'm just going king f1 or king f2 and I'm winning this game. So you see the difference here is very subtle, taking on g5 or taking on h4, but it's huge. Yeah, like just last time, if I just check, take f3, knight d6, now cd, rook e3, bishop f5, bishop queen d6, now bishop c8. No sense. Rook c8, and now there's no queen g6 check. I just chop off the queen. So this is the small difference in the position, but you can see that Anish did not go for any of these complications. Anish like knight h4 में कुछ होगा, knight g5 में कुछ होगा, पर हम तो आराम से knight d2 खेलेंगे. And now he's put his knight on d2. You know, generally how AG and VD games go. They have not played much, but I think it goes something like this, that if Anish is better and if Vidit starts to play well and equalizes, then at some point Anish offers a draw. This has generally been the trend, I would say, like, you know, but if Vidit makes some error, of course, Anish is not going to offer a draw. But here I get this feeling that because Vidit has played this kind of bravely in this position, and now the position, you can see the bar is saying it's equal. At some point, I think Anish will start to feel it that, oh, position mein advantage nahi hai. I am not getting an edge. So maybe he offers a draw at some point. I think there's a 30 move rule right here. What do you think? Do you know, guys? Is there a 40 move best design award? This way, yeah. All 6 pieces like this. Oh, nice. Two rooks, two, two rooks, two knights, two bishops. Uh, what should Vidit do here? That is also a question. No, it's not like friendship or anything. It's more like, Anish does not, he's one of the most objective players in the top level chess. He's never swayed by the fact that he can fool his opponent or stuff like that. Even if it's a draw against a 2500 opponent, he will often take a draw. Like, in the sense, he can play on, but he's also very objective in general. Yeah, Gary's easy chess. Is it not passive ND2? I agree. It's a passive move, but what do you do here? Yes, Tanmay Bhattacharji, I agree with you. That's the right move. And here you guys are all right that the move that Vidit should play is taking control of this diagonal with Queen H7. And the point is, let's say if I take on E4, you don't take with the pawn. Because if you take with the pawn, by the way, Queen H7 suggested by Mrinmoy, Akshat, Savita, Udit, Ayush, Tanmoy, Rakshank, Veer Singh, Aman Singh, and Yashasvi. Fantastic job, guys. The main point here is that I will take now with the bishop. I won't take with the pawn, giving you bishop c4 check. Suppose you take here. Now I have a choice between taking queen e4 or definitely not pawn takes. Never I want to do that. Because yes, on one hand you have this f5 f4 in the air, but it's difficult to engineer it. And a flank attack usually should be met with a break in the center. So just as a question, as an additional, just to make this point very clear in your head, what should white play here? White to move. What is the move here for white? I mean, to prove that this all is just weak. Yes, fantastic. You guys are amazing. Shreyas, Karthik, Aman Singh, Mimansa Dikshit, Trayam Gupta, Abhinav Satra Sala, Vaibhav Dubey, Vivek Gupta, Shashank Pathak, Abhishek Poddar. Fantastic job, guys. D5 is a very, very powerful move because CD5, Rook D5. I mean, there's no way that you are going to get in all these moves on the king side, and I am just moving forward in the center. So you don't want to take there. You also don't want, you may want to exchange the queens, but why? Let's take with the rook. And he goes knight c3. Okay. Oh, by the way, Vidit has just played queen at 7. Fantastic chess by Vidit from maybe a suspect position. He has been able to now get a fine position. And we were talking about this when he had played his pawn to h5. By the way, just let me finish this variation. After knight c3, you go back rook e7, and then after queen takes, I take back with the king. I'm coming here with my rook, and if someone's better here, it's with it. It's around even, I could say. Maybe they play on, maybe they agree to a draw, but this is tremendous chess. So what I was saying is that when Vidit went for this idea here with g5, it was already looking quite dangerous, and Anish could have played a little bit more energetically. He went queen c2, h5. This was now looking very suspect because of h4, g4, knight d2, getting the f4 square for his knight. Yet he played rook a d1. And then Vidit went h4. Now he had to take on h4 and play f3. But he once again went, no, he didn't go b4. He went knight d2 here. And when he allowed Vidit like all these moves in a row, which is h5, h4, and queen h7, it so turns out that suddenly Vidit has a great position on the board. Now, the question is, will Anish tilt here and do something really stupid, which he usually doesn't do. I mean, generally he's very objective. That's why it's so difficult to beat him. But I was thinking to myself, can we, like, the most natural move is to take here on e4. Sorry, to take with the knight. But can you go knight c3 here? And let's try to see if you guys can come up with a good move for black to play. Black to move. What should Vidit do here? Anish wants to take on e4. Yeah, we'll look at other games also. We'll look at other games. We'll also look at Arjun's game. I think Magnus is also playing. Pragg is playing against Rapport. Yes, we'll go there. Why not f3, says Sri Charan Loj. Okay, let's also look at that idea. So here, a very classy move, and let me see what is the suggestion by all of you. h3 you want to go. Interesting. You want to play h3. But then I can take e4. And really, you don't want to take with the pawn, guys. It's not worth it. You know, you do this and I give you a check. And then you move your king. And then I go g3. And next move I go d5. Position is bad. You have just messed up your structure. So definitely not this. The move that I was actually looking for here, and which has been mentioned by few of you, and both the moves are very good, but I would go for knight d6, is Sabarna, Anirudh, Sundaraman, Satyajit, Anurag, Mohit, Babu Rao, Aditya, Siddharth Joshi, and just for facts. Not an easy idea, guys, but very sensible. You play your knight here instead of h3, and the point is that he cannot take on d6 because bishop d3 attacks the queen. So you have to take on f5, and I take with my knight. And you can see the amazing coordination of black. He has pressure here from his rooks. His bishop is beautifully positioned. So that is not going to work out. The other option, which he took on e4, by the way, he's taken here, which, as I said, yeah, Anish, once he sees that he's in danger, he will start making moves to kind of preserve his position. f3, the same thing happens, knight g3 or knight d6. With the threat here, and if you take here, then I take with f5 and I put pressure here. So that's the reason why he didn't do this. He took, Vidit took back, took here, and now Vidit has an important decision to make. This will show whether Vidit is going to play for a win today or he's okay with equality and draw. If he takes with the queen, I believe it will be something in his mind, chalo draw kar lete aaj. You know, like, good, the game has been good. But if he takes with the rook, he's still somewhat ambitious. That's what I feel. What are your thoughts, guys? Will he take with the rook or will he take with the queen? Taking with the pawn is kind of out of question, as we said, because of d5 playing in the center. So let's see if he is ready to play with the rook or with the queen. He's thinking here. By the way, 20 moves have been played in this position. Oh, and he takes with the queen. He takes with the queen. So you see, somewhere Vidit is also a little bit like, ठीक है, draw हो जाएगा तो. Although I'm not 100% sure, but most likely now it seems to me that the game should end in equality. But it's still not so clear. You know, they'll fight. Also, yeah, he took with the queen. But I mean, I'm not claiming that if he took with the rook, he was better or anything. It was just maybe a sign that, yeah, It's a small improvement. The point is you go rook e7 and you have the other rook coming to e8. Then in the game where when you take with the queen, rook takes knight c3. Now rook e7, maybe he goes, I think it just transposed, yeah, then maybe, yeah, maybe. Of course, Vidit won't go rook e8 back. He will play maybe rook e7 here. And I think this might happen. Bishop d2. Anish will say like exchange karte hai. And now Vidit will most likely go rook e8. And then he would exchange, rook e1, exchange and exchange. And we reach this position where it's difficult to say, like, most likely this will end in a draw. But somewhere you see black has some more space. And when he has more space, he can try and push a bit. For example, let's say I go first king f7. You try maybe, this pawn is a little bit under pressure. So let's say you try to go h3. Just for the sake of argument, you want to get your king out. You place a bishop d8, trying to get your knight in. This is a small weakness here. So you go king f1, knight c7, king e2. I'm just trying to make some logical moves here. And now, already if you go king d3, this is a mistake. It's lost. Can you tell me why? Black knight is worse, Pavanam, but knight is coming back. As we just saw, it can come back into the game very quickly. So Rishabh Singhvi, Valanka Fernandez, knight f4 check, and you lose g2. It's absolutely right. So you can't do that. So you have to play king e3. I'm just giving you a feel of what could be a position that is uncomfortable for white. Bishop is coming out to f6. This is a weakness. You have g4 ideas in the air. So Vidit can try. I mean, Magnus would definitely try. By the way, in the game, Anish has just played the move h3. Not the best decision, I would say, because as we just looked at in the variation right now, this entire formation here is to black's benefit. Like if at some point Vidit gets f5, bishop d8, knight c7 to e6, and the bishop sits on f6, this could become really pressured position for Anish. And generally, you don't want to put your pawn here. Maybe he could have played bd2 and g3 also. That could have been possible. But anyway, h3 is not like a blunder or anything. It just feels positionally wrong. I mean, wrong in the sense it just doesn't feel... It just gives black the chance to create a weakness at the end. Now, how do I explain it is in this way. In our variation, which we were looking at after bishop d2 takes, rook e1 takes, king f7, king f7, h3. See, the point is, let's say I go bd8. I improved my position here with king e3, f5. Now, let's say you make another random move, I guess knight e2, just for the sake of argument, okay? And I go g4. Now, what happens in such a situation? The tension on h3 and g4 forces either white to wait and black can take it, or white should take it. Two things can happen. So, let's say if white takes it, then what happens is that black gets the ability to create a passed pawn which is very close to queening, correct? But if he doesn't take, then black takes. Let's say, for example, he plays a move like bishop d2. Just bad move, by the way. f4 is very strong. But I'm just trying to explain you the structure. Now h3 could become a... a weakness here. So that in In all of these things, you realize that this move h3 has long-term repercussions. Anyway, Vidit brings his rook to e8, and now Anish plays his king to f1. And now bishop d8, knight c7 is one idea. Bishop b8, knight c7, also bringing the king in. Let's look at this game in some time again. Let's quickly check what is up with Praggnanandhaa against Richard Rapport. Whoa, what a game. Just a second, guys. What a position we have on the board. Little Praggu has got his pawns here, and you know, guys, this is not something very new. I can show you one of my own games. I had played against a GM back in 2015, and it was against a GM called Nikita Mayrov. I'll try to pull up that game to show you a little bit of what is happening here from the perspective of trying to understand this very complex position. Yeah. Do you want to see it just very quickly? Like, it will take only 2 minutes. Please write yes if you want to see, no if you do not want to. Okay, let's have a look. So just so that you can get a good idea of what is happening. So I was playing against a strong Bulgarian GM at Mets Open. He went d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3, bishop b4, Nimzo Indian, queen c2, d5. I played a3, I took, he took. I played c5, he took. I played d4. This was exactly the point. Now, if you take cd here, then cd4, queen d4, then you have knight c6, and then you take on d5. So he took on c5 first. I played d4. He moved his queen back. I played e5. He played e3. And here I went knight c6, knight f3, castles, b4. So this is exactly the reason why this opening position is very dangerous for both sides. d4 and d3. And now if you take on d3, then what was my plan here after this? So it was e4, winning a piece in this position. So therefore, after d3, he played his move here and e4. So this is exactly how this structure comes about. Why I showed you this game is because it's very similar to what has happened in Praggnanandhaa versus Richard Rapport game. So let's quickly check how that opening went. Richard opened with 1 d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3, bishop b4, queen c2, and Pragg first castled. I had first played d5, but I think it transposed. a3 takes d5, bishop g5, c5, take d4, queen g3, knight bd7. Now he wants to take this pawn, but Richard says that I will play knight to f3. And actually Pragg could have taken that, but then his d4 pawn would be under pressure. So generally, black says, I don't care about this pawn. I have a strong center here. And of course, taking here is not the best of ideas, because after knight c5, now rook d1 makes no real sense because of knight e4. And already this is in trouble. So you, by the way, in the game, like if you play take, rook d1 and now knight e4, this does not work because of bishop f6. And let's say you take with the queen here, then there is queen g4. So there are subtle differences in that position. The difference is that here e5 knight would have been hanging after that. So anyway, e5 was played, rook d1, rook e8 in the position, very good, b4, Pragg goes a5, knight d2, Pragg takes. So we have this position, it looks really good for black. And now Praggnanandhaa goes king f8. Maybe not needed, he could have played e4 already. His position looks very dangerous in general, and if you play knight b3, over here he can already play d3 with his rook looking opposite the king. It was very strong there. So he played king f8, queen went to b3, he played h6, Richard played bishop h4, then he pushed his pawn. It was looking amazing for Pragg, e3, and now Pragg got a little bit over optimistic and he pushed his pawn to d3, which turns out to be not the best of ideas. It's actually quite difficult to understand why, but what is going to happen is that after something like h3 and g4 and bishop coming to g2, e4 would be under pressure and white castles. So the big advantage that black has in this position is lead in development. And when you play d3, what are you doing? You're closing down the position. Even though you get a protected passer on d3, you're still closing down the position, and it allowed Richard to play h3, g5, bishop g3, he went knight e5, queen b2, attacking the knight. Now queen e7 and rook a1. So take, queen a1 and bishop f5. And now what is going to happen, guys, is that Richard will take on e5, queen e5, bishop e5, rook e5, and then he will play a very good move here. Can you find it? White to play. What is the move here that white plays? Yes, Adult Anorak, Singh Chef, Heath Gandhi, Shreyas Karthik, Abhiraj Ratna. Very good. The move here is g4. I play my pawn to g4, I push you back, and next I play my bishop to g2, and e4 is kind of weak. I would try to get my king here. In fact, I can even start off with king d1, so that when you try to, enter through a6, I can block you. And then I will play bishop g2, rook here. Pragg is already a pawn down. This is a majority here. So I think he is in big trouble. Also, when the queens are traded in such a position, then you really don't have any chances. Till the queens are on the board, it is possible. So here, just final word about this. The improvement that Pragg could have made was knight e5. By the way, we have the first member of today, Karan Yogi, who's become a backer of Indian chess. Thank you so much, Karan. Anyone who becomes a member today, and I mean ever, all the money goes to young talents of Indian chess. So thank you so much, Karan, for becoming a member. Knight e5 was the correct move. The point was, if you take knight e4 to play g5, and this is exactly what you want as a player. You want mess on the board, complete mess. Like I can take on f6, you go back to g3, I can take on e3. Now this is weak. For black, you want this. And this is how Pragg should have played. Not this actually this was a very seducing move, d3. It was very attractive. Like everyone would want to make this. But it turns out that it is positionally wrong. Okay, let's go to Vidit versus Anish's game back very quickly and see if there is any change in the position. After bishop b8, as we discussed king f1, he played bishop b8. clearing the c7 square for his knight to come here. Bishop d2, knight c7, rook e7, rook e7. So this is the position. And let's say if I play a move like rook e1, you take, oh, he played a4 here. Very interesting. Saurabh Sankalecha, thank you for your super chat of 449. Thank you. a4. Interesting. Why did he play a4? I'm a bit surprised about a4 as a move. Maybe Anish is of the opinion that if Vidit goes knight e6, then he will go knight e2. And if king f7, then he will play b4. But then why don't you start with b4 here and why a4? I mean, is there any logic? Like, do you want to stop knight b5 as such? Because I don't think that is a point. This structure is not so good, right? I don't think that was the point. Maybe he's like, mere ko b4 or a4 anyway, I want to do this here. Why not I start with a4? In that respect, I am stopping knight b5. So do you think that Anish is the one who is still a little bit ambitious here, not exchanging a pair of rooks? He's saying that, look, anyway, there is no entry point down the e file. So what I can do is I can play b4, b5. And if I get that, then I will play my rook to b1 when the pressure will force, like my rook can get in on the position over there. So Abhinav Kumar says, can knight e6 be played? Yes, that's what he will do. And then Anish will play knight e2. Now, how do you continue? Let's say Vidit goes bishop c7. Okay? I go b4. I want to play b5. Let's say Vidit goes king f7. I go b5. It feels like Anish is pushing here because his pawns here are giving him more space than black's pawn. And I think engine doesn't feel it, but at least I think as human, I feel that white is the one making progress. I'm threatening to take and play rook b1, rook b7. So let's say king e8, Vidit may have to find this. Rook b1, king d7, take, and then I go rook b7. It's a very cute variation. Can you find the nice move for black here? Black to play. Pathikrit Pal says Anish might be wanting to put his queenside pawns on light square so his dark squared bishop has room. True, but I think the main idea is queenside pawn push, like a4, b4. Yes, king c8 is right. Manon Reja, you're right. Anirudh, by the way, Manon Reja from Bangladesh, very young talent. At some point, he had come to India and had won the Commonwealth Gold in under 8 or under 10 category. Very, very talented boy. So, Manon, good to see you. King c8. And now if rook takes a7, I go king b8. Now the rook is hanging. You come here and king b7. Your rook is trapped. So, I guess somewhere Vidit has to keep in his mind that he can bring his king this way against white's attack with b4, b5, and then he can start his own play with knight he can start his own play on the other side with f5, g4, if possible there. Okay, let's have a look at what Arjun is doing. Arjun is the leader in the tournament. He's taking on Volodar Murzin, and if you see, Arjun's position looks very interesting. Volodar is on 3 points. Arjun is on 3.5. So Arjun, this game can be a very important one. Let's take it from the top very quickly. D4, D5, C4, C6. Arjun Erigaisi is playing in the challengers section, and he is tremendous young talent. By the way, E6 is such an ambitious move. I mean, you're just blocking your bishop after E6. There are many other ways to play, but Murzin was like, I don't care. I'm just going simple chess. Take. By the way, there was a very nice thing which I was taught at some point, was that you can actually take here. Take E3, knight C6, bishop D3, knight F6. And here white can play a very nice move. Let's see if you guys can tell me white to play. What do you play here? This was showed to me once by Pankaj Joshi, and I was going in a train from Mumbai to Delhi, and we were just looking at something, and he's a good player from Mumbai, and he just showed me this idea, and it sticks with you for a life. And that is exactly what I hope to do here. Like, I show this idea, and maybe some young talent is watching this and it sticks with them, or young talent, or whoever, I mean in general, it sticks with you for life. No, not knight b5. Knight b5, just queen moves to d8 or b8 or somewhere, you know, like it doesn't change anything. Knight b5, I move my queen, later you have no threats, I'll play a6, I'll kick you away. The move that I was looking for is f4. Brilliant. And the right move has been suggested by Kamal Vijay, Aniruddha, Deb Malya, Nikhil, Abhinav, Siddhant, Jeel, Kavya, Pranay, Deven. Fantastic job, guys. Beautiful. So the point is that I want to play my knight here, but I'll rather go f4 and I'll play knight f3, knight e5. Now, why I would be better here is because of only one factor, and that is, what is the differentiating factor? What is the imbalance which gives white the advantage? What is that imbalance which gives white an advantage here? Oh, 96, 92 has happened in Vidit's game, as we can see on our demo, on our little board here. Yes, bishop. Light squared bishop is better. This is a better piece than here. And so white is better. And you know, I can just play my knight here. So this gives white a small edge. Anyway, Arjun went bishop g3. Arjun just went g4. Wow. I mean, what? f4. This is great position for Arjun. Knight f3, bishop d7, rook c1. Okay, f6, g5, long castle, knight b5, queen b4, king f. Excuse me, king b8, a3, queen a5, b4, queen b6. It looks crushing position for Arjun. You know, he's just been able to gain space. Knight went back to c3, rook f8, knight a4, queen went back, knight c5, bishop c8, b5, knight a5, and now he went king g1, which was perhaps not the best move, but it looks natural. I guess a good move was to take here, but I think it's not easy. Like, you take here, you would be scared of your bishop getting trapped after g6, but after g takes, rook takes, there is knight g5 always, and the bishop is not getting trapped here. But I guess humanly it's not so easy to play this way. Maybe that was the way in which Arjun could have got an advantage. He played king g1, knight f5, queen e1, h5, g takes f6, g takes f6, knight h4, take, rook h4, rook g8, rook c2, knight comes in, and wow, this is the position on the board. And from being better, it seems like Murzin has taken over in this game. the main point is that the black king suddenly is much safer than the white king. Hemant Kumar says, if you don't mind, please tell the standings as of now. Missed out the tournament because of personal things. Okay, I'll just show you the standings. But firstly, the main point here is that I can come queen d5, I can break with e5, and I can double my rooks down the g file. It looks promising, and Arjun would do well to actually try to hold this position. It's not going to be easy. He has 18 minutes, 10 moves to make. This is not a great position for him. Surya Ganguly versus Roven Vogel looks great for Surya because he's got his rook in and he is giving this check and winning at least a pawn. So Surya Ganguly might score another win, might score his second win of the tournament. For the standings, let me just put this up. Yeah, that just a second. Let me just improve this. Yep. Okay, so the standings are something like this. Just before this round, I have not taken into consideration this round because it is still going on. Let me just open the sorry guys, just wanted to show the standings, and I know that it might take a second, but I should be able to pull it up very quickly. Yeah. So these are the standings right now. Vidit is the leader in the Masters section with 3 out of 4, followed by Esipenko, Carlsen, Mamedyarov, Rapport, and Van Foreest. And in the Challengers section, we have Arjun Erigaisi, who is leading, and these are the standings of the Challengers section. I hope that that was helpful. Let's go back to the games, and yeah, so let's go back to our Masters section and see what is happening in the game of Vidit and Anish. Few moves have been played actually. A4, 96, 92 happened, and Vidit decided to play on the queen side with b6. Interesting. You see, I told you, no, that humanly it feels like b4, b5 is like an avalanche coming at you. So in your mind, you don't feel like I want to play like on the king side and I want to bring my king. This is a typical computer like way to play. Oh, by the way, thank you so much, Rishikesh Kumar, for a super chat of 1,000 rupees. Very kind of you, and thank you so much for that. So, King F7, B4 wasn't played. By the way, sorry, B6 was played, not King F7. B6, he took on B6 here. AB6, B4, Rook A7, Rook A1, King F7, King E1. And guys, I get this feeling that this is not going to be decisive. Somewhere, it's already 32 moves, so 8 more moves to make. Somewhere, someone is going to make a draw for. What is your take, guys? Let's see. I'm going to put a poll up. And I want to see, because you guys also have great feel for what do you think will be the result? Anish wins, Vidit wins, or would it be a draw? My my feeling is that, let me not tell you my feeling before you vote. Let's see what. Oh, people are saying uh, Rapport blundered. Yeah, let's also look at Magnus's game. But first, we were following a Praggnanandhaa Rapport. So it happened, he took, yeah, as we discussed, he took on e5, he got the queens off the board, and here g4, he played it, bishop g6. Here, as I said, the right move, guys, would have been king d1. And the point is very subtle. King d1, rook e8, king c1, rook a8, king b2. And it's such a beautiful variation because, see, a file is the only entry point, right? So if you are able to block it, you are better. And the king does the great job. And Pragg's idea here was that, but it's so difficult to be prophylactic in life and on the chessboard. Like, imagine that in order to be prophylactic here and start with king d1, c1 and b2, you have to ask yourself, what is it that my opponent will want to do if it is his move? And then when you think of it, you say that knight does not have a good square, bishop is also not doing much. So actually the only active plan for my opponent is to go from e8 to a8 or e6 to a6. And that is where this move can come to you, right? So that is the reason why bishop g2 that was played by Rapport is not a great move, because now rook e8, knight b1, rook. Now suddenly what happens is that if you start with king here, then you fall a move short, because now king c1, and now what is the move that black plays? Come on, very quickly, guys. Black to move. Prakhar Jain says maybe Vidit pushes to keep lead but looks drawn. Yes, I think so. I think it will be a draw. That's what I feel might happen, but I wanted to get your thoughts in the vote. Be careful, guys. Be careful. Come up with a good move. Did you understand this little prophylactic thinking which I said? And it can be a beautiful, it's a very, how do you say, it's a very crystal clear example of prophylactic thinking here. I mean, people will put this in the books when they talk about prophylactic thinking. Let me see what moves you have suggested here. Rook a1 now, guys. क्या कर रहे हो? Rook a1 is just an empty check. I just go king b2. You have nothing. Are you going to take here? I'll take back. उसके बाद क्या? Then I'm going to play b5, c6. I'm going to push my pawns. So the right move, of course, is to play rook a2. Cut the king off. And he cannot even move. d2 is hanging. So all those who wrote rook a2, well done. Anirudh, Maharoop, Pratik, Adit, Pushkar, Lightning Kid, David Billa, Mahaprasad, Shahul, and Lakshesh Gupta. Very good. All of you have got that right. Okay, going back to the game now. He went knight b1, and Pragg is thinking he will go here, and maybe his plan is that he will go knight c3 to control this square, because he knows that the 7th rank is more critical than the 8th. Like rook a1, there is always king d2. And so the game might go on here, and Pragg might have to find a very, very interesting move, which is Mr. Mickey says, what does prophylactic mean? Prophylactic spelling is Prophylatic. Prophylactic. Prophylaxis means nothing but stopping opponent's ideas. And so when we go here and when we go to this position, what is opponent's idea? Tuck, tuck, and tuck. That's the idea. So you go tuck, tuck, and tuck. That is prophylaxis in chess. Okay, let's check what is up with Anish and Vidit after both are now bringing their kings in, king e1, king e8, king d1, and I think a draw would be happening pretty soon. But let's see if they're ambitious, they will fight till the end. Or they might say like, let's draw. It doesn't seem like too much to play for. Let's go to Nils versus Magnus. Whoa. But guys, ये game जो हुआ था ना, crazy game. This is a crazy game. e4 c5, knight f3, knight c6, d4 cd, knight d4 e6, knight c3, queen c7, bishop e3, a6. Does anyone know the name of this opening? What Sicilian is this? Yes, Sid KM, you are right. It is called the Taimanov. Taimanov, yeah. Abhinav Kumar, PFF, Chintan Shaparia, Pratik Bhatt, Param Ahuja. There was this player called Mark Taimanov, and it's named after him here. So G4 seems is a very kind of recent trend. Take b5, castles, bishop b7, f3, rook c8, queen d2, he goes bishop b4, he goes bishop d4, f6. Okay, one question is why not e5 here? Can anyone tell me what happens to e5? Where do you move your bishop? See how good you are. Come on. They drew. I told you, right? They drew. I just felt it. मतलब ऐसा feeling आया था अंदर से. Like Anish played king d1 and he said, what draw? And Vidit was like, seems like I'm in the lead. I'm doing well in the tournament. Why not? Let's take a draw. And so Vidit, I guess at worst, would maintain his lead. At best, if someone from 2.5 does not win, then he would maintain his sole lead as well. But he will be the leader, and really a very high action game, I would say. Anish fought well in the opening, was very ambitious, but he went wrong. At the right time, he was not able to take certain decisions by which he could have, got an advantage. And then Vidit took over. And yeah, I think great game overall, right? अब साथ में डिनर करेंगे. Yeah, so coming back to the game of Magnus, the move that I was expecting all of you to tell me after e5. Let me see if you guys managed to give the answer. Yes, beautiful answer, guys. Very happy with 100 people finding this. Avanit, Vishal Kalyan Sethi, Nishant, Ishwar, Paras Bhoir, Kavya, Veer Shah, Crazy Content, Vitthal Sarda, and Shreyas Karthik. The move is bishop e5, because if you take queen e5, I go queen d7, king f8, and I take this with a winning position. Okay, so f6 was played. f6 ko he went g5, h6, g takes h6, knight takes a3. Whoa! Took on a3, ba, e5, knight b5. Wow, guys, what happens if I play this? I guess now it's okay to take, because now the bishop is not hanging here. So in that sense, that was okay. Nils took and played bishop b2, d5 by Magnus. What a move! Wow. Sometimes Magnus Carlsen plays chess like roulette. Yeah, he tries to take his risks there, and he takes calculated risks. But he said to himself, "कि देखो भाई, check में एक pawn तो जाएगा. This will go, but I'll play king f8. Now if bishop a4, but by the way, if you take here, I will take back with the bishop. And my point is that you can't take on d5 because queen c2 is a mate." Let me change the board. Sorry, guys. So this is just a mate here. Doesn't work. So this move d5 is an epic move by Magnus actually. Nils could have fought for a big advantage after queen b4 check, king g8, and now queen b3, pinning this pawn. And if you play king f8, I can go a4 with the idea of bishop a3 check. And look at this pretty checkmate. Yeah, like this doesn't happen often. Why? Why is it pretty? One diagonal controlled by the bishop, other diagonal controlled by the bishop, and other diagonal controlled by the queen. How often do you get to see that? It's like three snipers taking their position against the black king, which is the main target, and just shooting him out of the game. So bishop b5, king f8, bishop a4, d4, bishop b3, knight f7, queen b4 check, king g8. So now Magnus's risk seems to have paid off. Rook d2, bishop a6, f4, rook b8, queen a4, bishop b5, queen b4, bishop a6, queen a4, bishop b5. Now, of course, Magnus not going to take a draw. He plays this very cool move, rook h3, because now he's putting pressure like this as well. So bishop moves away and b3 would hang. This is pinned. So fe has been played in the position, and it's actually very exciting, this one. Oh, one question is, what happens if I go rook f1? There's just bishop f1. I can't do that. That's horrible. So let's say I go rook f2, trying to put pressure like this. What would you play here as Magnus Carlsen? Black to play. Chalo, guys. Work. It's a workout for you. Can you find what is the move? Ajay Kumar says Mamedyarov winning, he will become the joint leader with Vidit. Okay, let's look at that game. Mamedyarov. But I think somewhere Vidit's draw here was a very good stabilizer in a way, because drawing black with Anish is always a great result, you know. It's never easy. At the same time, you know, Vidit managed to hold his own. Anish came up with a new idea. He put pressure, but Vidit held it. So it's clear that Vidit is in one of his best forms right now. So the move that I was looking for, and which, let me see if people have found, is rook b3. Rook takes b3 is the move. It's not the main move, but bishop e8 is passive, but rook b3 is more active. Anirudh, Kamil, Adarsh, Viresh, Aparajita, Shambhu, Shreyas, Tizia, Deepan, and Nitesh. Well done. So the move here is rook takes b3. Now bishop e8, which was said by so many of you, does not work because after queen c4, white is putting pressure in the position. But instead, if you were to think of today's game of Daniel Naroditsky, by the way, all those who have not seen it, Grandmaster Chess, please go and check it out. Brilliant game, brilliant episode. Naroditsky is just a gem. Take this, and bishop c4. And the point is very clear that my bishop is superb. And if you try to move your queen away somewhere, after queen b6, you're going to get checkmated here. And so you have to keep your queen around somewhere. But even such positions, It's not easy. I have like moves like bishop b3. This is pinned. This is pinned. So I get a feeling that Magnus might be putting a lot of pressure here. Let's see what his opponent came up. He didn't play rook f2. He went rook g1. Okay. Maybe he wants some mating attack. Like let's say if you take here, take here, take here, and now I have queen g3 threatening a mate. So that was Nils's idea here. Okay, got it. Rook g1 makes sense. But now, isn't he losing a piece, guys? Isn't white losing a piece? What is the point? Okay, look. Bishop a6. Okay, now the point is, if you move your queen away, this is over. Can you tell what is the winning move here? Very quickly, black to play. Please, notation. 2 rooks. There are 2 rooks. I want correct notation, guys. Correct notation. I'll change the live board to Pragg's game. That would be nice. Thank you guys for all your suggestions always, which helps to keep up the quality of this broadcast. Safed B Kala B says, Vidit and Anish discussing 15 minutes after the draw. Anish says, dude, you gotta decide whether we are going for the Indian restaurant or you want Dutch food. Yeah, that could be their discussion. By the way, the right move here and notation wise, right? Yes, rook h b3. I love it, guys. Well done. You saw that both rooks can go there, so you didn't just write rook b3. Rook b3 is a little bit lazy. Rook h b3 because both rooks can go. Adarsh, Midhilesh, Paras, Satvik, Nishant, Ritankar, Veer, Tejas, Anirudh, and Rohan Balasubramaniam. Well done, guys. The move is rook h b3, and this is pinned. So what Nils might want to do after bishop a6 here is he may want to play bishop takes f7. But you know, guys, here the winning move is unbelievable. It is king h8, not taking it. So you may ask, but what is happening here? Now I will take this. And black is better. Because I can't take it now with the queen b8 hangs, and I don't want to take with the king because there is this rook dg2 idea with taking on g7 and then taking on c7. Chess is very complex. But Magnus Carlsen has gone for, after rook g1, bishop e2. Wow. So Magnus said to himself, ki dekho bhai, when you are taking on f7 and I take with the king, you are getting rook dg2 move, trying to take here and win my queen. So I am blocking it with my bishop. Isn't that amazing thought? Like a world champion's thought. But I don't know if that helps, because after queen a4, bishop c4, rook d g2 anyway would happen. So I don't know if that really helped. Magnus might have to go back. And then this ensuing position, it seems like black is slightly better here because the white king looks weaker. Black king looks more safe because it can go back. And this bishop is better than the bishop on b2. Bishop c4 is better. So I think Carlsen still has an edge, but with bishop e2, he might have lost some of his advantage. But let's see the game, what happens. Many of you said, by the way, let's just quickly check what Pragg's position is like. because we saw till rook e8, he went knight b1, then knight d7 was played by Pragg. He didn't go immediately rook a8 because he saw knight c3 is possible. So he went knight d7, king d2, rook a8, king c3, rook a2, attacking here. And now a very good move, rook d1. Wow. Wow. Superb. And the point is, if you take on f2, I will play rook d2. Any endgames where the rooks are traded is over because of this superb majority on the queen side. I mean, this seems completely losing. Also, the king comes to d4. Doesn't look great. Doesn't look pretty. Could be that this could be still savable somehow by very accurate play, but doesn't look great. So Pragg is right now in a quite a bind. But I think he will do well to keep the rooks on the board with knight e5, rook d2 and rook a1. Let's see if this looks interesting. He goes rook d. Oh, he took on f2 and rook d2 has happened. Oh my god. Safed Bhi Kala Bhi says Fabi versus Esipenko is getting exciting. Okay, there are many games which are. By the way, Dubov is not showing his like fire in this tournament. He's drawn another game with Sam Shankland. Rook f6 has been played by Pragg. I think Pragg has misplayed it, and maybe now king d4 is strong, rook a2 with the idea of rook a7 is strong. Yeah, Pragg realized that exchanging the rooks is bad, but at the same time, giving the white rook access to the a file is not a pretty idea. So, yeah, this is not good. Okay, let's go quickly to. Oh, by the way, king d4 has been played by. By the way, 5 minutes for Pragg for 8 moves, 9 moves now, and 7 minutes for Richard. So there is some time pressure, but white's position is easier to play. Knight is coming to c3, e4 pawn under pressure. Richard is winning. Mamedyarov versus Jorden. Wow, what a position. But it's clear, yeah, black is winning here. Because queen g1 check is incoming. This pawn is strong. There's no way to win this bishop. Queen g5. Oh, he's played queen f5. But yeah, this is done. Queen g1, king h3. Even this should be strong because now you can't play king h2. There is bishop g1. So rook g2. And yeah, queen c4. So Shakhriyar Mamedyarov has managed to beat Jorden with black pieces. Never easy. Never. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Esipenko versus Caruana. Just if you look at this position, at first sight, it feels like black should be better. He is 2 pawns up. But when you go a little deeper, you realize that g7 is hanging, which is like the heart of the position. Esipenko is white, Caruana is black. And then you ask yourself, can I even save this pawn? And the answer is no. So then you say to yourself, can I go and win this pawn? And he goes knight f4. Doesn't even let you to take this. And then you play rook g3, knight h5, rook here, knight g7, knight takes g6, and bishop f6. And perhaps Esipenko has enough here to hold a draw. Wow. So Esipenko should be able to hold this, but being 2 pawns down, and still it's just activity in the position that is giving Esipenko a good chances. Let's go to Arjun's game. So Arjun is one of the leaders in the is the leader of the tournament. Meanwhile, Surya Ganguly, he is pressing here. He's a pawn up against Roven, Vogel, but it looks like it's not so simple to convert this. It is going to take a lot of effort. And Surya will have to go rook g6, king e7, g4. It's going to take time for Surya to win this. And maybe it's not easy as well, because there are these drawing fortresses where you give up your bishop for a couple of pawns, take the last pawn, play rook knight versus rook. It could end in a draw. Arjun versus Murzin, we had left it off at rook h4, rook f g8, and we were saying that Murzin looks better at some point, but Murzin went b6, slightly committal there. Queen d5, a4, f5, queen e2, and queen e4 has been played. So right now it seems like Arjun has equalized, but one question is, can we take this pawn? This check here doesn't look so scary, because I can go to h2. Yeah, I'll just pin a message here so everyone who's coming and saying what happened in AG versus VD game would know that it was a draw. So right now Arjun is thinking he has 8 minutes. There are 6 more moves to make, and Murzin has only 1 minute 42 seconds. If we count the pawns, it is 6 pawns versus 6 pawns. Well, you could say that most likely result here is a draw, but not a given. Yeah, because see, the thing is, Arjun is worried that if he takes this pawn, Murzin will come to g3 and then he will attack this. This is what Arjun is afraid of. So he could be calculating like a d5, attacking the queen. Now if you take here, take here, take here, this looks fine for for white. After d6, it should at least be equal. But after d5, there is rook takes g2, queen takes g2, queen takes c4, d takes e6. Careful, queen takes e6. Why is this a huge blunder? White to play. Guys, don't go to sleep. White to play. Can you spot it? Arjun didn't go for these lines. Queen b7 check. Absolutely. That's a mate there. Very good. Not queen b2, guys. b7. b7. Yeah. But anyway, Arjun didn't go for these lines with which allowed the rook coming here. So he first played his rook to h3. His idea next is to take here. But cannot black just go rook c8? Anyway, there is rook c8. I'm going to be with this game till the time pressure phase ends, because 1 minute only for Murzin. It's going down on time. And also, guys, Arjun is leading the tournament. He is on 3.5 out of 4 in the challenges. By the way, h4 should be a great move here. No, Advai Nayak, this tournament does not have anything related with candidates. It's the next one, FIDE Grand Prix. Here, if you win, you just win the tournament. It's a standalone event. Duda versus Sergey, there's a blunder. Yeah, let's just check very quickly. But let's wait for Murzin's move. He's down to 17, 16, 15. Murzin has to play. Is this going to be something? Oh, man. This young boy from Russia, he plays amazingly well on time. But, okay, he plays h4. Brilliant. With just 11 seconds left. Okay, Arjun has 7 minutes 34 seconds. So let's quickly check what happened in Duda's game that you guys have been telling about. Where was the blunder? So you were saying that Duda was better and he was pushing here, or maybe it was equal and they were kind of repeating, but he went rook g4 because you can't take. Okay, the queen is hanging. So he came back, he went back. So the blunder that you guys are talking about is that if Duda repeats here and it ends in a draw, that would be bad. I mean, white is winning here if he finds the move rook f1, defending his queen, threatening to take on g4. And the rook is trapped. Because if you go here, oh, there is queen h4, the idea of mate. Wow. Okay, let's see. Duda has 20 seconds. Will he play rook f1? Because 20 seconds he has been not enough time to find this. 4 more moves to make. To play, I think he'll go bishop e3. When you go so low on time, you're not going to change your move. 4, 3, 2, 1. What? Generally, the times have been correct, yeah, over here. They have not, the DGT boards are set in a way where, so maybe something wrong. Or did Duda lose on time? Did he lose on time? I can't believe that he lost on time, yeah. They drew. Oh, they drew. No, 36 moves. Oh, they drew. How it's only 36 moves, so there's no question of reaching 40, but I guess they might have agreed to a draw. They accepted a draw. That's okay. But it was a great position for Duda here. Chess is not easy, guys. Chess is not easy. You know, there are many times when you are winning totally. Yeah, they agreed to a draw here. But rook f1 would have given Duda a winning position. If rook here, then rook queen g2, threatening a mate. And look at this beauty variation. Beauty, yeah. Knight g6. ठीक है. Black is like, अभी mate नहीं कर सकते हो तुम. I'm taking your bishop. So Duda now takes. You take. So there's no mate here, correct? And now this is hanging. Queen is hanging. If you move the queen, h2 is hanging. Can you find the winning move here for white? White to play. Can you find the winning move? Guys. Not easy. I doubt if you can find. So G7 is what many of you are saying. Let me see what is the chat chess move saying. G7. Just to show you some lines. If G7, King G8. Now, if you move your queen, this is hanging. There's no way to continue. There's no checks, nothing. And if you play E7 here, the main point is that if you take bishop E7, there is queen g3 and white wins, because there are all sorts of threats like queen b8 in the position, and this is winning. But look at this move here. It's queen c4. Can't believe what the move is. Queen is hanging. This mainly he just took the queen out of this pin. Now he can take rook e7. Man, chess is just amazing. Okay, if I take here, then rook e1 check is over. Check, you can't come back because the queen controls it. Oof, 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 oof. So queen c4 was the move. And so the right move here and the right move order is e7. And again, the point is, if you take bishop e7, then I have g7 and queen g3, which we just spoke of. And this is winning for white. I mean, there are a few things, few details which have to be sorted out. Like, for example, if you play queen b2 trying to stop here, I'll go queen c7 trying to mate you here. But if you play rook b2 trying to stop this, then an unbelievable move here is queen e5, threatening a mate. And if you take, I go in and I make a queen and mate. Isn't it spectacular? So e7, bishop e7, g7 is winning. But now the question is, e7, queen c4 does not work because of g takes h7. Now the thing is, why you have an option to push on this. So I'll take here, threatening a mate. And if you take here, I will queen this and win the game. Check, king here, check, and game over. No, it's just amazing lines that to witness such variations is crazy. And I think Duda couldn't see all of this in the time pressure, and so he agreed to a draw. Okay, coming back to the game of, by the way, Nils versus Magnus, we looked at till bishop e2. He took on f7. Magnus took with the king. Queen a4, we saw this. Queen b7, queen b4, queen c7, queen a4, bishop b5, and now Nils played this in-between move. Can you find it? It's a very important move, guys. White to play. Yeah, I'll go to the main. White to play. What is the main move here? Yeah, rook dg2. That is the move. Fantastic job. All those who said this, hats off to you. And I think many of you did say it. Rook dg2. Aditya, Deven, chess is more than fun. Aditya, Giridhar, Techopedia, Srijan, Flame, Deepak, and Patrick Bro. Well done, guys. So rook dg2 was played, and then rook h7, queen b3 check, bishop c4, queen switched here, queen b6, gave a check, took, and I guess this is going to end in a draw, guys. 40 moves are coming up. Last move for Nils. 13 seconds to go. And he goes rook g5. Although with Magnus, you can never be sure as to which positions will end in a draw and which ones he will press, because the final 40th move, and I think Magnus is going to find this move bishop d3. The point of bishop d3 is that this would hang, but I'm wondering, like, let's say here rook g2 is bishop e4, but then can I give a check? Then you go king e6 and you save this pawn. Bishop d3, what do you do here? It's not simple. Check rook g2. Then this one. Oh, did Murzin blunder? One second. Wow, Murzin blundered big time. So we were here. Rook g4, queen f3. Oh, rook g4 was a bad move. Rook c4. He had to actually find a move like rook h7 here. Rook h7. But why? Why can't you play like rook here? Take, and rook c1 with the idea of here. The queen is looking nice, but no, not this move. What's the point here? See, queen f3 is the point. You want to exchange the queens. You want to go into the endgame. So rook g4, queen f3. Oh, he's going into the endgame. Queen d5, and he's saying I'm pawn up. Take, rook back, rook c8. He just took it. King c8. 40 moves are done. King f2, king d7, and now rook h1. Well, maybe there was a stronger move here than rook h1. Can you find it? It was actually not even the 40th move had not been done. So I'm a bit surprised that Arjun didn't find it. Or maybe he has some other plans. But what is the best move here? White to play. Yeah, exactly. Chetan Mahajan, Anshul Nanwani. By the way, Dave Ardal, thank you for your super chat. You always send in some super chats, so thank you so much. Everyone saying Srinath was in the chat. I was just trying to find whether he did. I don't see his name, so maybe I'm not sure if Srinath is in the chat, but if he's there, Srinath, all the best. And Arjun is playing really well, and maybe this is his 4th win now here. Yes, the right move here, as you all have pointed out, was g3. Fantastic job done by so many of you. Abhimanyu, Giridhar, Vinod, Utkarsh, Manav, Anirudh, Rahul, Mistadam, Vitthal, and Dev Malia. G3 was the move. And point is, if you go g3, h takes, rook takes, that's done. Game is over. Because I'm threatening this, and you can't go into any pawn endgame. Pawn endgame is just over. Khatam. Tata, goodbye. So if you go here, I go check, and then I take this pawn. Otherwise, it's done. So g3, otherwise, if you don't take, I'm taking gh4. I'm very surprised that Arjun didn't play this with, like, what? A huge amount of time on the clock. Or they don't have, maybe their time control is different, or what? They also have 50 minutes. Okay. King d6. Maybe now it's not so easy to win. Because if you go for the same plan now with rook here, maybe you have to recorrect your mistake. What's wrong with king f3? Study tips is study tips, but king f3 I can give a check, push you back, and then go back. I mean, you didn't make any progress. So actually, if Arjun, guys, if Arjun finds rook h3 here and g3 back, that would be just unbelievable, I would say, because it means that how do I say it? You take a decision that I'll do. You are by the way a great musician. Yeah, you are great on guitar, and then someone tells you that no, guitar there's no scope or something, so you enroll in engineering, and then you spend 2 years in engineering college studying for it, and then you say to yourself, but I don't like it. Which one? This is engineering college. I need to get back to my guitar. So you say, but 2 years of engineering I've spent. Okay, I need to get back to my passion. I need to get back to my guitar, and I need to play g3. Because generally you are like, 2 साल पढ़ाई किया है, तो let's finish it. Let's do 2 more years of it. But then the point is, how do you win here? Where is you do jobs. You do like, let's say, okay, you wait, you try to get a job. It's a dull, drab life. And then one fine day, you're like, at the age of 40, you're like, oh no, I really need to get back to my passion. And then you again come back to guitar. This is a story of rock on, yeah? No, he has time. He'll get 50 minutes, guys. He'll get 50 minutes. Printing engine. Oh, I should have used printing engineering. Doing MBA is like Rook C1. This is finishing engineering. Rook C2 is MBA. Rook C3 is job. Then eventually coming back to your life, going back and playing G3. RC1, RC8 and R8 is winning Giridhar. No, but Giridhar, he'll stop you, right? He'll not let you go to, he'll not let you go here. He'll go King D7 or Rook G8. So it's a good time for Arjun to think. Also another idea is G3. Because if Rook G3, you have Rook H4. And if H3, you go King G2. And next up, you are going in. Like Rook G7, I guess Rook H3 maybe. The only thing which gets me a bit worried is the fact that maybe this is also good. Maybe Rook C7. But what do you do here? Like, Rook H. Oh, Rook H6 is just Rook trade. Yeah, that loses. I take and take on G3. So Arjun, let's see if Arjun is able to find this quickly, or does he do engineering, MBA, gets a job, then comes back and does it eventually. Yeah, Magnus finds BD3. Yeah, Magnus does that always. He finds the best move on the 40th move. Now putting pressure on Nils to find what should he do. Why not Rook G1 and G3, says Sudhakar. You tell me, Sudhakar. You have a good question here. Why not this? What could be the problem with this? How can black stop? Prophylaxis. Small prophylaxis. You know what white's plan is. You know that white wants to do G3. So what is the small prophylaxis here? Study tip says when rook is on h3, king f3 is a good move. Yes, But then eventually you have to make progress. No, so you have to go g3. There's no other way. Yes. Saumitra Joshi, Giridhar, Bad Boys, Nitish Kumar, Belligerent. Rook g3 is the correct move. And I stop you. Then you have to again go back. And so eventually you have to come to this plan. Bimal Patel says, Sagar, I love your streams and love your commentary. It's so engaging because of the fine moves and insightful fun in your analogies as well. Well, thank you, Bimal. Anuj Singh says, same happened with you, Sagar, in your CA. Yeah, I went and did CA, but then I came back and then I started playing chess again. So I didn't do like 2-3 steps there. Vidit drew, guys. All those who are asking about Vidit's game, he drew against Anish. Very nice game, fantastic game, fighting game of chess they played. Oof. Arjun OP in the chat, guys. Arjun OP in the chat, because this youngster has just, he didn't even waste time. He gave up 2 years, but he's coming back. He's not wasting another 2 years. He saw this is coming. Really, Arjun OP. And this is just winning now. G3. Next move, he's coming. And he understood the main thing in life and on the chessboard. The most difficult thing is to, like, you have an idea, and generally your ego is attached to your idea. That, you know, I found this idea and I must back it. And then you say to yourself that actually my idea was bad. I should go back to what my initial idea was. This is not easy. It's not easy. Whatever you may say, I think it's a very nice moment. I like it. Well done, Arjun. And now g3. Okay, let's look at Praggnanandhaa's game, because he was completely losing against Rapport. But has he managed to muddy the waters? We looked at till king d4 here, right? We looked that the king had come up. So Pragg went rook e6, knight c3, knight f6. So look at this. 1, 2, 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. Everything is like e4 pawn is like sab मैं क्या मंदिर का घंटा सब लोग आके मेरे को मार रहा है. But the thing is, now if everyone is kind of consumed with e4, then the rook can go and try to get in from the other side, and also you have the queen side majority. King g7, rook a2, h5, gh, bishop f5, rook b2, king h6, rook f2. Okay, interesting. Bishop h7, knight to d5, took here, and he took on f7. d2 wants to queen, goes back, and here 40 moves have been completed. Pragg is thinking what to do next. He needs to create some play. Look at this pawn. It's so bad. I want to give a check, but there's no check. If I go back, then you don't even take this because there's a check here. You will just block it here, or you can even take this. Look at this nice variation and take this. Checkmate. And then when you go here, you can even chop this, and then this you can block this, and then these 3 pawns will just march home to victory, like at least 2 pawns. Yeah, we want to see Arjun Erigaisi in Grandmaster Chess. That's a good suggestion. Oh, by the way, Shaq has won against Jorden. Bishop e3. It's resigned here. Is it zugzwang or what? Like the rook wants to move, then bishop d2, and then check. Can you not do bishop d2 here? It's also good. Yeah, queen d1, and he just resigned here. because queen cannot go anywhere because c2 would hang. Oh, by the way, look at this. Caruana has one extra pawn. That's absolutely nothing. One extra pawn is nothing. Should be a draw. So Esipenko gets a draw. Magnus's game, okay, I mean, Magnus may be able to convert it. By the way, I have a question. When is Magnus versus Vidit? Can you guys try to figure out and tell me? I can also try to find, but if you can tell me when is Magnus versus Vidit, that would be nice to know. And what about Surya Ganguly? How is he doing? Okay, steady. Steadily trying to convert his advantage. But not so sure, yeah, after this move. Threatening to take here, and rook d4. Round 11. Acha. After second rest. So a lot of time. We are at round number 5 right now. It's a 13 round event. बहुत लंबा सफर है. It's a long journey. I guess I think I should call it a night, yeah, here, because this is what I think will happen. Okay, just so that let's just have a quick look at what has happened and what will happen, and then I will call it a night. So just so that you know what to expect today, and I'll do a roundup also, but first to understand. So sorry, this one. So Vidit drew. So he went to 3.5. Esipenko will most likely draw with Fabi. He will go to 3. Magnus seems like a draw, but Magnus is slightly pushing. So I believe that there are some chances that Magnus can win, but most likely could end in a draw. So I would say 3 for Magnus. Shakhriyar Mamedyarov won. So he will go to 3.5. He will join Vidit at the top. Richard Rapport won. So he will, I mean, he's winning against Pragg. So he will also join Vidit at the top. Jorden lost to Mamedyarov. So right now we have 3 leaders, I think, after this round, and 4 if Magnus will win on 3.5 out of 5. Okay, got it. In the challenger section, Arjun winning this would mean he will go to 4.5 out of 5. And Murzin was on 3 points, so he will lose to Arjun. That means he'll go down. And one more player who was on 3 is Guen Van Dan Van, but he drew, so he'll be on 3.5. So Arjun will get a full point lead over the field if he wins today. And Surya Ganguly will also move to 3.5 if he can win. But Surya's win is also not so simple. You know, it's a little bit complicated. Okay, so let's have a quick roundup before we end today. And maybe you can later put this as a timestamp for anyone who wants to see this stream later. Of course, I make daily recap videos as well, so you can see there. But this is more like a little bit fun and light way to look. So Anish, playing with white pieces, decided that I'm playing with it. Let me open with 1e4. With it, decided I'll play the Petrov. He took here. They played the line which was played in Magnus Carlsen versus Jan Nepomniachtchi. Everything was same until here. There, Magnus had gone knight c3. Anish decided to play c5. This is following Arjun Erigaisi versus Levon Aronian versus Arjun. First game of the tiebreak in Tata Steel. But here knight c3 was the first new move of the game. Rook e8, bishop e3, knight a6, knight e2. Anish was trying to press slowly and steadily. His idea was to get his queen out, push b4, gain space. But Vidit played g5, and that was very, very nice move. You know, g5 was brilliant, gaining space on the king side. It looked risky, but h5 became a bit too much, I think, here. perhaps he could have continued with bishop g6 or queen g7, because after h5 white could have played h4, g4, knight d2, getting the f4 square for himself. But Anish played a little too passively, allowing Vidit to get h4 as well as queen h7, and from this point onwards it became clear that Anish has to fight for equality, which he did pretty well, and the game ended in a draw after some moves. Vidit broke with b6. There could have been more to play here, but they agreed to a draw here. So a good game, good fight. Definitely something that Anish could think that he missed a chance somewhere, but Vidit defended very well. Going to Praggnanandhaa versus Richard Rapport game, I guess Praggnanandhaa missed a golden opportunity here, because from the opening he got a very nice position, a very complicated game, and I think Richard Rapport took some big risks here. E4, and black was just dominating. This was the moment where you don't have to play d3. He had to play knight e5 in this position, and he would have had a great position, but he played d3, and after this it so happened that Richard got a better position. He exchanged. He could have finished him off with king d1, c1, b2 idea, which is a great prophylaxis against rook e8, rook a8, rook a2, and white was better clearly, but Pragg did get some chance, but eventually he didn't play it so well, and here Richard got his king up, and then slowly now the position has reached this where white is totally winning. I mean, black may have some last tricks up his sleeve. For example, just to show you one nice thing, if he goes knight d5, of course you get queen, but knight e2 is a mate. But I mean, you can just go knight d1 and white is winning, b7 is hanging. So Richard will win. Magnus versus Nils, I think from the Taimanov, great position. Magnus inspired, played over here, sacrificing a piece, bishop a3, ba3, e5, and then came knight b5. This was the moment where there were fireworks, and d5 was really something that only Magnus can play and get away with, because after this queen b4 check and queen b3 would have given Nils a really big advantage. Check, queen here, a4, and bishop a3 was the point, but he went this, and now Magnus started to push, but the position was not so easy. Nils defended very well, and in the end it so turns out that right now the position that we have on the board seems slight, like here I don't think Nils had to play rook g5. It was the 40th move, and he could have played king d1, but he played rook g5, bishop d3, rook f5, and rook f2. And I feel that Magnus has some chances here. It's not so clear because rook h4 and bishop e4. It seems to be that black can push a bit. Esipenko versus Caruana is going to end in a draw. Mamedyarov beat Jorden van Foreest. Duda versus Sergei Karyakin, very curious game, because the last position where they agreed to a draw, Duda was actually winning, but as we saw, some crazy lines ensued after knight g6. Take here, rook e2, you have to find e7. When the rook can't take on g2, there is e8 queen, and this is also something happening, and g7 is in the air, gh7 is in the air. White is winning here, but it's very complicated. In the game of Arjun Erigaisi, he is, oh, what? Arjun didn't go g3. Maybe he didn't like this. What's, don't tell me they're going to agree to a draw or what? It's going here and there. Because if he plays rook h3 again, it could be a draw, right? No, it won't be a draw, because rook h1, king d6. Rook h3, king e6. Rook h1, king d6. Rook h3, king e6 would be second time. Oh, he goes a5. So, not sure, yeah, if Arjun will convert this, because now what will happen is after take, rook a1, rook g8, rook a5, rook b8. It so happens that maybe black is the one who's starting to press a bit. I mean, black is the one who's getting back into the game, but I don't know if I think white has still chances. But really, I think Arjun definitely doesn't see something good with g3 here. I don't know what. He doesn't like this. Oh, now he can't take it because this is a draw. Oh, so the time waste that he did with rook h1 here, this g3 takes. Oh man, it was move sensitive. It was time sensitive. Ah, shit. So here he went back after rook h1, but he suddenly realized now g3 is not possible. Ah. Guys, that was the subtle point that going back. So those 2 years that you wasted with rook h1, no, so I mean first take on g3 and here you can't get the entry. Yeah, that was the key point. And now he's going for another career path with a5, but maybe that's not going to be easy. Let's see if he's able to win this. Surya Ganguly is pressing against Roven Vogel, but this is not going to be easy to win. If Surya wins, he'll move to +2. Okay, guys. So that was all from me. I would have loved to stream until the end of Arjun's game, but I'm a bit tired and also need to take some rest. My health is not the best. Also, Amruta is not doing so well health-wise. So we are both like in this house where we are kind of not in the best health, but I think we'll recover very soon. And I wish all of you to take care. I hope that you all will take care and stay safe. And I'll see you all tomorrow. All those who haven't seen Grandmaster Chess with Daniel Naroditsky, please do check it. And there was a super chat here by Hardik Shah who says, just ordered chess set from Chessbase India. Hats off to Sagar for dedication towards chess. Down still doing commentary, inspiring. Well, thank you Hardik for ordering that. And guys, please do consider buying a few things if you, I mean, good products if you want for your chess. That we have, I have 3 links in the description. Generally I put them when I'm doing commentary. Here the three products that we have is, one is, the first one is Chessbase 16 and Mega Database. I keep showing you this screen, right, where I analyze. This is Chessbase, and I keep using Mega Database for annotated games. Live database also can be opened here. You can use an engine, you can do many things, so you can check that out. And of course you can also get yourself the Chessbase India premium chess set. This is the second link. It's a high quality chess set and you can make use of that. You will enjoy playing. It's one of the best selling products that we have. And lastly, we have Vedika's chocolates here. I saw Vidit's vlog yesterday and he did some very nice promotion of Vedika's chocolates, you know, talking about it, giving it to Anish, and Vedika speaking about it. There are 3 flavors now there in that, and it's a chess themed chocolates, in the sense the packing, the number of chocolates in there, 16 in the regular pack, 32 in the premium pack. So you can check it out. It also has an offer of 3+1, like if you order 4 you get 1 free, so that's like the 4th one is free. So that was all from me. If you would like to check it out, please do. For now I will take your leave, and I'll see you all tomorrow. And thanks guys for tuning in, and I'm very, very excited because Vidit is doing really well. Also, Arjun is playing very well, and so is Praggnanandhaa. Okay, today he lost, but otherwise well. And Surya also is fighting very, very hard. And I think all Indians are doing phenomenal. Even I think it's only 2 losses in 20 games, which is great, after 5 rounds. Bye bye. Good night. See you. Shubh Ratri.